I never really had great ambitions about being a professional footballer. It just happened to jump out at me. Nothing can compare with being a player. Nothing. No the capacity, no the job in the football club compares at all with a player.
Chapman. Chapman running hard and well. Criswick is clear on the right. A shot!
Chappy was a professional player and a quality one at that, so he understands what players sort of go through.
I think by the time I actually do retire, I won't really miss football.
Kit manager Les Chapman has been at Manchester City Football Club for 22 years. Before joining the Blues, Les had a distinguished playing and managerial career. Born in Royton, Lancashire in 1948, Les Chapman's near 50-year football career so nearly didn't happen. His mother had different plans for her youngest son.
My mother made me stay on at school, and I had a pretty decent education and got like 6 O levels and stuff. And my brother was an accountant at the time, and she felt that it was probably a good profession for me to go in, but I was bored out of my tree for 10 months.
It was whilst playing for a local team called Chatterton Boys, he was offered a trial with Oldham, who were playing in the 3rd tier of English football, and in 1966, with the nation celebrating its first World Cup win, Les signed his first professional contract.
Well, it was so different then. I mean, it's not like an 18-year-old signs today and it's all over the media and television, and every game is televised, every goal's televised, whatever division. In those days, you got the highlights of about 3 or 4 or 5 matches on a Saturday night and match of the day, and that was it. There was very little midweek, and the 2nd, 3rd and 4th divisions just were non-existent as far as TV is concerned. So it wasn't the same media hype. Probably had a little article in the Oldham Cron, local boy signs for Oldham. And once I'd signed professional football, I was involved in a professional football club. I think the realisation of this could be quite a good career, the fact that I love playing football and I'd virtually trebled my wage from the town hall as a trainee accountant, I think outweighed anything as far as later years are concerned, i.e. pensions. And I mean, I could be an accountant till I was 60, but you don't play football till you're 60.
Being a Lancashire boy, summers were spent playing cricket.
I played cricket, yeah, I played for Chatterton Boys at cricket, and I went for a trial for Lancashire when I was 15, I think. And in the trial, they give you 3 overs to face as a batsman, and I was out 3 times in the first over, so then I turned towards bowling. But I played for Crompton, who were in the Central Lancashire League. I played for their reserves as a kid up to about 18. So I did enjoy playing cricket, but then football took over when I signed at 18, and that was it then.
Les counts his debut for Oldham as one of his fondest memories, as well as his first goal for the club.
Jimmy Frizzell was playing for Oldham at the time, ex-manager here, and we had a free kick halfway in the opposition half. And I was stood on the edge of the penalty box. I started walking towards Jim before he took the kick, and then I turned back to walk towards the box. But as I turned back to jog towards the penalty box, he took the free kick, and it landed on the top of my head and bounced over the goalkeeper, and I wasn't even looking at the ball.
After 4 years at Boundary Park, and with the side now in the 4th tier, Chapman attracted the attention of Huddersfield Town and their manager Ian Greaves. The Terriers had ambitions of playing in the top flight and saw Chappy as a vital piece of the jigsaw.
I was so fit in those days, I could run all day, and I always classed myself as an honest player who would work hard, not just for myself but for the rest of the team, and the club itself. I would always give 100%.
After 5 seasons at Huddersfield, Les returned to Oldham, and in 1978 followed in the footsteps of Pelé, Eusebio and Franz Beckenbauer by joining the North American Soccer League. Chappy spent 4 months at the San Jose Earthquakes and loved every minute.
I mean, it was just incredibly different. I'd got a car, I got a flash apartment. Like the Trafford Centre was just like a normal mall. I had 40, 50 channels, cable TV, drive-in cinemas, fast food places. I mean, it was just 20 years, 30 years in advance. They've caught up a lot more now, obviously, but in those days, in America in '78, it was like 98 in England.
Here's Les Chapman, he's around a man, working with Davidovich, back to Chapman,
That one, I think he's gonna
and there's a penalty kick.
Finally.
Now they've called the penalty kick. Here's a look at the foul.
A trip by McGrain.
I was single and I was fit. I loved playing football. It was a different experience. We had every nationality on the planet playing for San Jose. Iranians, Canadians, Polish, Yugoslavs, Africans, all over the world. A crap team, but it was a great experience. We used to fill out the stadium. We broke the NASL record, which actually 14 straight losses. Because there were no draws, you had a shootout if it was a draw after 90 minutes. You had a shootout, you had a line 35 yards from the goals, and you had 5 seconds to score. We actually played at the Silverdome in Detroit, and Trevor Francis was playing for Detroit. Ken Furphy was the manager, and Trevor Francis was a 16, 17-year-old. He just got in the team at Birmingham, was a sensational player, and he'd gone on loan for the summer to Detroit. And we were all sat in the dressing room waiting for the manager, who was called Terry Murphy, American guy. I had 3 managers while I was there in the 4 months. But this American guy, he was the second one to come in, and we're all sat there waiting for the team to be announced. And he walked in with this kid about 18. He said, I'd like to introduce you to Carl Christensen. He's the top collegiate player in the whole of the United States, and he's marking Trevor Francis tonight. So we knew he was starting, then he read the rest of the team. 5-0 down after 20 minutes. He scored 6 goals, Trevor Francis.
After just 4 months on the west coast of America, Chappy returned to the northwest of England and to Stockport County. A move to Bradford preceded a spell at Rochdale. It was 1984 and Les would take his first steps into management, but it wasn't down to a burning desire to manage.
Probably because I was the oldest player in the team and probably a few more functioning brain cells than a lot of the others, and plus there were a lot of young ones in the team, so I thought, and Rochdale being Rochdale, they wouldn't have I'd shed loads of dough to go out and get some famous manager or anything, so they thought they'll make do till the end of the season, see how it goes. We did all right. First game we beat Blackpool, who were top of the league at the time, so. But then it happened at Stockport as well. Colin Murphy left to go to Saudi Arabia in the January, and I took over. We were 5th bottom when I took over in the January, I think it was, and we missed out on the playoffs by a point.
Les ended his playing career at Preston North End, with John McGrath taking him to Deepdale as a player and assistant manager.
John was a fearsome character, ex-centre half, Newcastle, Southampton, used to kill centre forwards. Not the most educated bloke, could go in a boardroom and tie directors up in knots and chairmen. Fantastic talker, great motivator, good coach, and some of his talks in the dressing room, you know, he were really fired up and stuff like that. But at the time, most of the players' nicknames derived from his, when he wrote out the team sheet, because he was a bit dyslexic. Like Gary Brazil, he'd put the A before the R, so he was Basil. Bob Atkins, he'd missed the T out, he was Akins. I can't even tell you what he wrote down for Ronnie Hildersley, but he was a colourful character.
In 1990, Les took over as Preston manager when McGrath left, spending 2 years in charge.
It was in the September I got the sack at Preston, and Peter Reid had phoned me in the summer, and he'd said, he was manager here, he said, I know you're manager at Preston now, he says, but if things go not according to plan, I'd like you to come here and take the reserves, and I'll leave the job open till October. And I got sacked in the September, so then Reedy obviously got sacked, and Brian Horton came, who was a diamond, then he got sacked, and then Mr. Ball came, and and I got sacked, and I went to Huddersfield Town taking the youth team for about 9 or 10 months. Then I came back to City as kit man with Joe Royle.
To many onlookers, the move from management to kit manager seemed a big step down for such a footballing man.
You've got to go back to the time and to realise what the financial stakes were at the time. It was a job, and I didn't have a job. I mean, I got some compensation for leaving Huddersfield, but it wouldn't be enough to keep me in for more than 2 or 3 months, so I had to have a job. And at the time, that was the only offer I got. Most jobs are acquired in football by people you know. I've always been waiting for somebody I was pretty close to during my career to get a job as manager, and then perhaps I could have gone there with somebody like that. I did get, when I was doing the kit job with City under Joe Royle, Warren Joyce got the manager's job at Hull and asked me to go and be assistant manager there. And I told Joe, and I think he had a word with the players, and they gave me a rise, and the players contributed something towards it, and I stayed. I mean, if I'd have got a job as a welder and I could weld, I would probably have took it, because I was wife, 2 kids, as I say, and I had mortgage, so bills had to be paid, and I got offered a job and I took it.
During Chappy's tribute game in August, Joe Royle managed Chappy and his side, and when asked about his former kit manager, it was clear to see that he still held him in such high regard.
He's impish, he's marvellously insane, he's funny, he has a great work ethic, he can be serious, he's got a good knowledge of football, he's a marvellous man, and quite honestly, you won't find anyone in football with a bad word for Chappy.
In recent years, Les has become a massive hit on CityTV, with his antics gaining huge viewing figures on the club's YouTube channel and website. His relationship with players is often highlighted, and when you ask someone for their thoughts on Chappy, the response is instant and always positive.
I think everyone loves Chappy because he's just such a funny character. Yeah, he moans, he's funny, he just cracks jokes, and he's just an all-round. He's a great guy, and everyone's grown to love him.
He's definitely one of the nicest guys and the funniest also in the Manchester City, and that's why we all love him.
He's a legend, you know. He's the heart and soul of the team, and we all love him.
Chappy's just always great to be about. He's always likely to do something very unexpected. The least thing you'll think's going to happen, he'll do it. He's always good fun, doing an impression or diving around being stupid, generally having a joke. You know, he could be just somewhere waiting to go on a walk, and one time he just dived in the fountain fully clothed for no reason. So he's always good fun, and you know, he's been a great servant to the club as well.
You think another trophy may enter the Richards cabinet later on?
Yeah, I went to his testimonial the other week, and it was a nice sort of send-off for him, because there was a lot of people there. I think I had over 2,000 people, so it was a nice day out. And he's obviously, I've known him for about 10 years now, and he's one of the nicest guy I've met. So just, you know, he's a good guy. Yeah.
I believe you have won the Chappy for Best Comedy. Congratulations, Mr. Hart.
He's the man. He is our club. You know, he's been here for years and years and years, and he will continue to. He's someone that we do look to, you know, because football's not just about 90 minutes on the pitch. We spend a lot of time together, and you know, he's the heartbeat of our dressing room.
I think you can tell initially when you first meet the people, and certainly in the first week, the people that you know you're going to have a decent relationship with, and some that you probably don't get as close to, or it's not the done thing to get as close to. Benjani was one of those lads who you knew. I mean, he's such a funny guy, he's like a good guy, and I made sure that he was well looked after in whatever he wanted. And I think once players see that you are willing to go over and above what you're supposed to do, like you go really out of your way to help them, then you'll always get that certain friendship and loyalty back and that respect back, I think. If you're not on the coaching or the management side, then you can be closer to the players. You're not dropping them. You're not selecting them for a game. All you are doing is a service for them. You're supplying them with kit, you're supplying them with boots, shin pads, whatever the requirements, you are supplying them with. Whatever they want, you try and get, whether it's an errand or you drive them somewhere or they ask you to go on holiday with them. It's easier in a kit man's capacity to do that than an actual member of the management or coaching team, where I think you have to alienate yourself a little bit from the players. You see, I was never a threat to a player. All I was there for was to help them. I've always thought that that is my main capacity, to make sure that those players and staff have everything they need, not just in kit requirements, but in things in life like laughter or satisfaction or whatever the good things in life. I would try to translate to the players or pass on to the players, whatever you want to call it, because that's the way I am. I don't particularly like conflict.
After years of being on his own as City's kitman, Chappy now has 2 colleagues to help. Brandon Ashton joined 4 years ago and Ali Marlin joined in the summer of 2012.
Ali's very efficient, very organised. Unlike me, he's tidy. Brandon's like me in one sense, he's completely untidy. About 18 brain cells functioning. You have to tell him all the time what to do, but he's a willing lad. I mean, he'd do anything for anybody. Good-hearted lad, and I think between the 3 of us, we've got a good team. But I'm stepping back a little bit more on the physical side, especially after the pre-season, which I found very hard. Unfortunately, Ali is more than capable of taking over my role eventually, and that's probably what will happen. It'd be a different type of kit man to me, of course. I mean, he still has the banter with people and stuff and that, but everybody's unique in their own way, and he'll probably do things a bit different from me. But the good thing is he's organised, he's thorough, he's dedicated to the job. He loves being a kit man, especially at this club. The contrast from Blackburn, where he was before, to here is like a different world.
In August, Millwall's kit manager forgot to bring their kit to an away match at Sheffield Wednesday. The incident received national coverage in the UK, and Chappy is hugely sympathetic towards his Millwall counterpart, as he once came close to doing the same.
I was on my own. We were playing West Ham away, and I'd put all the skips and the bags out in a certain spot in the kit room, ready to be loaded onto the coach to go down to London the day before. Set off on the Friday morning, and somebody, for some inexplicable reason, had moved the skips around in the kit room. And when I got to West Ham and got into the dressing room about 11 o'clock in the morning for a 3 o'clock kick-off, or it might have been earlier, 10 o'clock, started opening the skips, no kit. So then the blood drains from your head. That's what the physios and the masseurs and the sports scientists said when they saw me in the dressing room. I said, "Where's the kit?" And he said they just went, gone. And then it was Carlo Sartori, one of the sports therapists, just opened the bag and says, "What's this?" I said, "Oh, it's all the Spurs shirts. In fact, that's Spurs shorts, that's Spurs socks." And I had everything because I always took, I don't think Mark was particularly happy about it because I had that much stuff in the dressing room and storerooms and things, because he liked everything neat and tidy. But I had enough Spurs to cover it, which is like miraculous. But it's the most emptying feeling a man could possibly have. The Millwall felt like, well, I can imagine it's not the nicest feeling, but that's the only time that it's ever happened to me, and it will never, ever happen again.
Behind the football lies a dedicated and loyal family man. He has 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters, and those who know Les are aware of where his true passion lies.
I'm so lucky because they're just beautiful people, wonderful human beings, thoughtful, kind, sharing, would help anybody. Nobody would ever have a bad word to say about any of them. And fortunately for me, they've both got good partners. Tiff's married to Johnny, who's a great lad, and Susie's getting married next August to Lee, who's a diamond kid as well. So I'm very fortunate on that score. And of course, I've got 2 little granddaughters now. Tiff's got 2 little girls, Phoebe and Betsy, who are just amazing, but so different. Like Betsy's a terrorist and Phoebe's an angel, you know, but they're both equally wonderful. And of course, I'm now engaged to Sarah, so that will probably be a wedding for the future.
The one constant in all of Les's career is his mother, and as she approaches her 98th birthday, she's still going strong.
The only thing wrong with my mum now is a short-term memory. I can go at 6:05 and she has a tea at 6, she won't know what she's had. But she can talk about when she was 7 at school, and amazing memory for distance past, and you can have a normal conversation, yeah, perfectly normal conversation. If you're constantly asking questions and talking that, but if you leave it for a minute, she'll ask you the same question again she asked you a minute ago. But she's still got a great sense of humour, and she's a warrior. My dad was very funny, but very quiet. But whenever he spoke, it was funny. One of those really dry. I suppose in most ways I'm like my mum, really. I hope I've got her genes. I mean, she's 97 and going strong. My father died when he was 64, same as me. Yeah, my brother was more like my father, I think. If anybody can, no matter what the career is, if they can say that they've brought a family up who are good, healthy, honest, good people, I think that's a great achievement in life.
Almost 50 years after signing on at Oldham Athletic, Les Chapman remains a true football man, and when asked about life without football, he struggles to answer.
It's hard to envisage now, I suppose, because it's been my whole life, apart from the 10 months after leaving school. Obviously wouldn't have met a lot of fantastic people that I have met. I wouldn't have had a millionth of the adventures that I've had, countries travelled to, places seen. If I look back and look at the countries visited and the miles that I've travelled, it's staggering. I don't think I'd have done much of that as an accountant. I think by the time I actually do retire, I won't really miss football. I think I'll engage myself in something that detracts from football, that I've got my mind on other things, whether it be a book or just family matters or just travelling or just enjoying being retired, not having the involvement every day of work. Just something in complete contrast to what I've been used to all my working life. I think that's one aspect of it that I think I'll enjoy. I don't think I'll miss the game as much as people might think. I'll miss relationships with people that I've formed through football over the years and stuff, and will continue probably those relationships in some capacity, but I don't think I'll miss the everyday grind anymore.